Canada has banned the Chinese messaging app WeChat, very popular, of course, as well as the Russian antivirus program Kaspersky on government devices because of concerns about privacy and security. Let's go to our bureau in Ottawa. CTV's Colton Prail is standing by with more details here. Colton, what are you hearing?
Todd, a move like this really shouldn't come as any surprise, given the concerns around cybersecurity and privacy, particularly when it comes to data and when it comes to these two countries, Russia and China. Both of these companies could be subjected to data laws because of where they're based that could allow foreign governments to access data from the security system in the case of Kaspersky and from, of course, user data in the case of WeChat. But the questions and the critiques we're hearing from tech experts and critics is what took so long? 8 months ago in February, the federal government announced they were banning TikTok from these same government devices. Now we have similar apps in WeChat and Kaspersky that were already known to be threats. It's been 6 years since the UK government warned its own agencies that Kaspersky could have access to sensitive data. And while at the time they didn't say you don't need to use the software, they did warn about the risks and consideration for where you're using that software. So critics are asking what happened 8 months ago when we banned TikTok from government apps as a first step. What happened between now and then? Because as they say, the threat landscape is changing much quicker than our government is acting. What we do know is that the feds say that no data has been compromised as of yet. What we don't know is just how prevalent these apps actually were on government devices.
So what that means now, I guess, Colton, is that they will no longer be on those devices. This is another way to add an extra level of security, I gather, to make sure that there is no way, or at least trying to mitigate any way, that the Chinese could possibly integrate or affect Canadian systems.
That's just it. This is being pitched as a way to protect the federal government's data, protect their cyber infrastructure, and make sure things are as safe as possible, because we know there's been concerns with these apps. You even just have to look back, to August and MP Michael Chong, who was under this disinformation campaign that happened on WeChat. And so that's another concern. It's not just, the stealing of information, the collection of user data that is a big part of cyber surveillance internationally. It's not just about advertising, it's about user actions and how people live their lives. But the other aspect of this is misinformation on these platforms, specifically WeChat, can be quite high. And so the Canadian government is looking for ways to curtail this. They're looking for ways to try and take a couple small steps towards increasing our national cybersecurity and restricting some of that cyber surveillance that could be happening. But again, the question is really, what took so long? We knew these apps posed risks far earlier than this action. And so what changed to make this happen today?
Good question. CTV's Colton Prail in Ottawa. Thank you, Colton.